How to be successful with ARM Cortex and Eclipse and avoid mouse traps. During this 10-minute presentation, we will provide a short overview of Eclipse, what it is, who's involved, and how you can use it for developing embedded devices. Then, we will have a brief introduction on the ARM Cortex processor, more specific, its debug functionalities. At the end of the presentation, we even provide some examples of commercial Eclipse products and a link to a free Eclipse distribution for ARM Cortex, so you can try it out yourself. Eclipse is an open source community. The goal is to build an extensible development platform with application frameworks, so you can build, manage and deploy your software across the product lifecycle. Eclipse is best known for its IDE. Most people know it from Java. It has been a very popular Java development tool. However, from the early days on, users requested support for developing mobile and embedded applications. Today, Eclipse offers all that and much more. To support the Eclipse community, the Eclipse Foundation was founded. It is a non-profit Eclipse community member. The foundation hosts all the Eclipse projects and provides the marketing activities for Eclipse to support the business development. You should realize, though, that the foundation itself does not develop open source code. The code is written by open source developers called committers. These people and companies have volunteered to contribute their work. CDT is just one of the many Eclipse projects that supports the embedded market space by providing the graphical interface and all the necessary C and C++ development tools. CDT is funded and developed by several key contributors such as ARM and Freescale. Let's summarize the used terminology. Eclipse is a framework for tools. It can be fully customized by adding various plugins. One of these plugins is called CDT. It creates a C++ development environment. Eclipse is an ecosystem. Hundreds of organizations build plugins. It has a huge user base too. Many companies contribute code and projects to the Eclipse community. Many of the companies do even compete with products based on Eclipse. There were several Eclipse CDT releases in the past. All have a unique name. Currently, the actual release is called Helios. So, before you start using an Eclipse plugin, we advise you to check if it is up to date to the current Helios release. CDT was introduced for the first time in the 3.1 Eclipse release back in 2006. Each release occurs on an annual basis. Since then, the available code has doubled in size. There are currently 38 active projects. Altogether, they represent about 33 million lines of code. With so many users and contributors, how do you rest assured of adequate support? The Eclipse Foundation is hosting several websites and provides access to its users to request for support and read into forums in an attempt to get things organized. But there are also successful companies providing Eclipse distributions with guaranteed support and bug fixes in a professional way. They assure that the product evolves according to the functionality that is required. The ARM architecture is the most widely used 32-bit RISC architecture. As of 2007, 98% of the more than 1 billion mobile phones that are sold each year use at least one ARM processor. Prominent examples of the ARM processors family include ARM7, ARM9, ARM11 and Cortex. This presentation focuses on Cortex. Cortex-A are application processors. needed by smartphones, previously using ARM 9 or 11. Cortex-R, not listed on the slide, is for real-time applications, whereas Cortex-M are microcontrollers. The Cortex-M family is based on the ARM v7 core, specifically targeted at embedded applications. Embedded users are usually looking for performance, power consumption as low as possible, and specific integrated I/O devices. The devices are available from more than 40 different ARM partners. They license the core, develop, manufacture, and support the end user. Besides power management, CoreSight enhances the real-time debug functionality. A new software standard called CMSIS was added to provide a new mechanism to access the internal peripherals. This will ensure better usability of software and replacement of processors in the future. Finally, a 2-wire interface was added to reduce the pin count. With all the great features and functionality that Eclipse and Cortex do offer, you are warned. Be careful in selecting a development strategy. Are you sure your company should download, build and support such complex systems internally? Why not work with a professional Eclipse distribution? For sure, it is not done to change or even tune your tools during your product development process. It's the best guarantee for failure. At Logic Technology, we advise you to seriously consider a professional tool that is tested, updated and supported by a team. We all know it's a challenge, especially for young engineers, to master the GNU and Eclipse open source technology. Guess what happens when exactly that one engineer becomes unavailable to the company or the project? We provide commercial open source Eclipse distributions dedicated to Cortex with guaranteed support. An example is ARM DS5 product. Makes it easy to develop Linux systems on Cortex-A based platforms. Whereas at Olix, TrueStudio is entirely focused to Cortex-M. This overview of TrueStudio is a good example of what to expect from a fully featured development suite. TrueStudio offers features non-existing in traditional tool suites. The IDE includes the compiler and the debugger required for development on Cortex, but additionally, it also includes the tools to replace your traditional Microsoft Developer Studio license. Now you're ready to develop embedded software as well as access files that run on your Windows PC, all within Eclipse. Many development teams still underestimate the value that is added to their work when they start building software and implement the version control and bug tracking system. This is, however, included and available once you install TrueStudio. Several high-end add-on products dedicated to code quality and testing were released recently. A must-have if you ship flight safety critical software, according to the DO 178B coding standard. As a last remark, we would like to highlight some of the high-end debug features provided by TrueStudio and DS5. They are all based on the CoreSight technology. Typically, one would expect to read and write into registers and have access to memory through the JTAG connector. With CoreSight, you get real-time code and data trace functionality on a running target. The example monitors I/O pins and profiles the software by tracing the program counter and data. Nicely integrated into Eclipse. This demonstrates how powerful low-end on-chip debug functionality becomes when it can be exposed into the Eclipse GUI. Using this powerful setup is the best guarantee to finish your projects on time, with good documented code and revision control at hand. No doubt, this is a valuable service and a bit more complicated than just downloading some open source code from the internet. A copy of this presentation with hyperlinks is available on our website, www.logic.nl. Contact us if you have any questions related to embedded development and make sure you check out TrueStudio. Thank you for listening in and good luck with your next design.